Hi there, I'm glad you're here. Sometimes when I walk into my kitchen, it honestly feels like I've just stepped into a battlefield, clutter everywhere, and I don't even know where to start. What drains me isn't just the endless cleaning, but that quiet feeling of being out of control, losing time, losing energy, and sometimes even losing patience with myself. And I know I'm not the only one. It's not about being lazy, it's about being overwhelmed. In this video, I want to share some simple but very practical ways to take the pressure off, beginning with removing things you really don't need. I used to think a tidy kitchen just required more effort, but I discovered the real secret is having less. Once I started letting go of the extras, not only did my kitchen stay neat for longer, but I felt lighter too. And if it worked for me, I believe it can work for you as well. So let's start with the very first tip, something almost every kitchen has, but once you let it go, the difference will surprise you. Number 1, let's start with something so ordinary that you might not even question it. The kitchen rug. The truth is that cozy rug isn't cozy at all. It's one of the fastest ways to make your kitchen feel messy and heavy. It looks harmless, maybe even inviting, but have you noticed how it quietly adds to your workload? Every spill sinks and every crumb gets stuck, and instead of helping it, just gives you another chore, shake it out, vacuum it, or wash it again and again. Here's a simple swap: trade that rug for a pair of cushioned house shoes. They protect your back and feet just as well, but without turning into one more thing that demands cleaning. A friend of mine once realized she spent more time washing her cute patterned rug than actually wiping her counters. Every time she cooked pasta, red sauce splattered on it. Every time her kids ran through with snacks, it looked worse. One day she rolled it up, tucked it away, and suddenly her evening cleanup went from 30 minutes down to 15. And if you're still not convinced, don't worry tomorrow. I'll be sharing more things you can let go of so you can keep experimenting until you find the version that really works for you. It's a tiny change, but it clears both your floor and your mind. And once you feel that relief, you'll start to notice how other ordinary items might be doing the same thing to you. Number 2, let's move to the two spots that attract clutter the fastest: the countertops and the front of the fridge. At first, sticking notes, school artwork, or photos on the fridge feels warm and personal, and leaving utensils or appliances out on the counter feels convenient. But over time, it builds visual noise. Your eyes never get a break, and your brain quietly registers it as stress. The fix is simple: clear them. Keep your counters as empty as possible and let your fridge doors breathe. Use a drawer organizer for utensils and try a small bulletin board in a hallway for kids' drawings or reminders. One of my neighbors used to keep every recipe clipping coupon and magnet on her fridge. She said it reminded her of what needed doing, but in reality, it just reminded her she was behind. The week she moved it all to a single folder by the pantry, she told me she felt like her kitchen had doubled in size without moving a single wall. That's the power of clean surfaces. They don't just look neat. They make your whole kitchen feel calmer and easier to maintain. Number 3, let's talk about those bulky knife blocks and utensil jars that sit out on the counter. They're supposed to be convenient, but in reality, they collect dust, take up space, and make it harder to wipe your counters clean at the end of the day. What looks practical quickly turns into another layer of clutter. The better option: store knives inside a drawer with a fitted insert, or use a slim magnetic strip inside a cabinet door. As for utensils, keep only what you truly use and let them live in a drawer too. A friend of mine downsized from 3 spatulas, 4 serving spoons, and 2 potato mashers to just one of each. She thought cooking would get harder, but instead she realized she always reached for the same favorites anyway. Clearing the extras freed a whole drawer, and she said it felt like she got new storage without remodeling. And let's be honest, do we really need 3 different ladles? Unless you're running a soup kitchen from home, one is plenty. Same goes for that second potato masher. When was the last time you actually hosted a potato mashing party? Exactly. Less sitting out onto the counter means faster cleanup, clearer surfaces, and one less thing adding to the visual weight of your kitchen. And once you notice that, you'll start to see which helpful gadgets are really just in the way. Number 4, let's open those cabinets that feel like a game of Tetris every time you reach for a pan. We buy sets of pots, pans, or baking dishes thinking we'll use them all, but the truth is, most of us stick to just one or two favorites. The rest? They sit there heavy and awkward, daring us to move them. The fix keep only the pieces you actually use. If a casserole dish is so heavy you avoid it, or if you own 6 cake pans but only bake once a year, it's time to let them go. You don't need a full collection to cook well, you just need the ones that truly serve you. I once had a giant roasting pan that looked professional, but honestly, I roasted one turkey in it and then spent 5 years storing it like a shrine. When I finally donated it, I swear my cabinet sighed in relief. And let's be real, no guest has ever walked into a dinner party and said, "Wow, you only served me with one platter. Where are the other 5?" If they do, you probably shouldn't invite them back. Cutting down on duplicates and oversized dishes doesn't just free up space, it makes your kitchen easier to use, and every meal feels less like a balancing act. Number 5, let's move to something softer, kitchen linens. Towels, cloths, runners, table mats, they sneak into our homes faster than we realize. One day you open a drawer and it looks like a fabric store exploded inside. The truth is, you don't need 20 different towels. A small set that rotates with your laundry is more than enough. Keep the ones in good shape and let the rest go. A friend of mine used to have a stack so tall that when she pulled one towel, 3 others followed like a landslide. She finally pared down to 10 matching ones, and not only did her drawer close smoothly, but folding laundry actually felt satisfying instead of stressful. And here's the funny part. No guest has ever walked in, dried their hands, and said, "Excuse me, but where's the seasonal embroidered towel collection?" If they did, I think we'd all agree they need a new hobby. Simplifying your linens is such an easy win, fewer piles to manage, fresher looking drawers, and one less daily mess. Number 6, let's step back and look at 2 quiet culprits. Cookbooks and the food hiding in your pantry or fridge. Cookbooks sound inspiring, full of possibilities, promising new meals and family favorites. But, if we're honest, most of them just sit there collecting dust while we Google recipes on our phones. They take up space but rarely get opened. It's the same with food inventory. Stocking up feels safe, even smart, until weeks later, you realize half the pantry is filled with forgotten cans, half-empty bags of pasta or spices that expired 3 years ago. And the worst part, you blame yourself for wasting food, when in reality, the problem isn't you, it's too much inventory. Here's the change. Keep only the cookbooks you actually love and use, and let the rest move on. For food, lower your inventory. When your shelves aren't crammed, you can actually see what's there, which means you'll use it up before it spoils. One woman I know had 4 shelves of cookbooks and insisted she needed them all just in case. After a gentle challenge, she picked her 5 true favorites and boxed up the rest. She said it was like taking 20 pounds off her kitchen. As for food, she shifted from stockpiling a month's worth to buying just enough for 1 week. Her grocery bills went down, her fridge stopped smelling suspicious, and dinner became less of a guessing game. And here's a thought, no one wins an award for the most canned beans stored in a pantry. In fact, those cans might just be taking up the mental space you need for other things. Slimming down both your cookbooks and your food inventory doesn't just save space. It gives you back clarity money and a sense of calm every time you open a cupboard or fridge door. Number 7, let's talk about cups, mugs, and bottles, those little things that multiply when you're not looking. It starts innocently enough, one free water bottle from an event, a cute mug someone gifted you, an extra set of glasses on sale. Before you know it, the cabinet door barely shuts, and every time you empty the dishwasher, you're cramming things in like you're playing a risky game of Jenga. Here's the thing, you don't need a whole army of drinkware. A couple of glasses per person, 1 or 2 favorite mugs, and a reliable water bottle for each family member are more than enough. The rest just sit there getting in the way. I once visited a friend whose cabinet literally had 27 mugs for a 2-person household. She admitted they used the same 2 mugs every morning, the rest were just too cute to let go. Finally, she donated 20 of them. The next week, she texted me saying, "I feel ridiculous, but I actually like unloading the dishwasher now." Everything has a place. And let's be real, no one is coming over and saying, "Sorry, I can't stay. You don't have enough novelty mugs." If they do well, maybe they should start their own mug museum. By trimming down your glasses and mugs, you make it easier to put dishes away, easier to keep cabinets neat, and you cut out that subtle stress of fighting with clutter every single day. Number 8. Let's face it, food storage containers are like rabbits. They seem to multiply when you're not paying attention. One day you think you don't have enough, so you buy another pack. Then, suddenly, the cabinet is overflowing with mismatched lids, cracked bottoms, and containers that look like they survived a small kitchen war. The problem isn't having too few, it's having too many. A better way is to keep only a small set with each lid paired to its base. Yes, it means fewer containers fit in your cabinet, but it also means no more 10-minute lid hunts or angry sighs when nothing stacks right. A mom I know once joked that opening her container cabinet was like unleashing an avalanche. She finally cut down to just 10 containers with their lids on, and for the first time in years, she could grab one in seconds. Her husband even said, "Wow, I didn't know this shelf had a back wall." And let's be honest, most of us rotate between the same few containers anyway. The rest are just taking up space and making the simplest task, like packing leftovers, more frustrating than it should be. By simplifying, you get rid of the chaos. Your shelves look calm, your meals are easier to pack, and you'll never again have to play the dreaded lid matching game. Number 9, let's talk about the hardest category to declutter, the things you spent good money on but hardly ever use. That fancy blender that promised to make you healthier. The slow cooker you swore would change family dinners. The gadget you bought because an influencer swore it was life-changing. They sit there not being used, and instead of helping, they just make you feel guilty every time you see them. Here's the truth. Keeping something you don't use doesn't make it worth what you paid. It only makes you pay twice, once with your money and again with your peace of mind. Letting it go isn't wasteful. In fact, it's the only way to stop feeling weighed down by it. I remember a woman who bought a juicer during a New Year's fresh start phase. She used it once, hated cleaning it, and then let it sit in the back of her cabinet for 3 years. Every time she saw it, she thought, "That's my $200 mistake." When she finally donated it, she said it was like someone lifted a brick off her chest. And honestly, none of us are getting judged by the kitchen appliance police. If you don't use it, it's not for you, and that's perfectly fine. Releasing the money guilt items is freeing. It makes your space lighter, your routines easier, and your kitchen a place where you feel good, not a daily reminder of past regrets. Number 10, let's finish with a principle that keeps everything else in check, setting space limits. Instead of asking, "How many do I need?" you flip the question to, "How much space am I willing to give this?" It's a simple but powerful shift. The idea is this: every category of item gets its own container, drawer, or shelf. When it's full, that's the limit. No exceptions. For example, your food storage containers fit in one drawer. If the drawer overflows, you don't need a bigger drawer, you need fewer containers. The space sets the boundary so you don't have to argue with yourself every time. One dad I know kept buying lunch boxes and bottles for his kids. Their cabinet eventually looked like a sporting goods store. His wife finally set a rule: one shelf, that's it. When it overflowed, they picked the favorites and donated the rest. She said it was the first time she didn't dread opening that door in the morning rush. And here's the beauty of this rule: it takes the guilt and guesswork out of decluttering. No more agonizing over what if I need it someday. If it doesn't fit in the space you've chosen, it doesn't stay. By setting clear limits, you stop clutter before it even begins. Your kitchen feels balanced, you know exactly what you own, and you're no longer negotiating with yourself every time something new comes in. Number 11, let's talk about the cute decorations that slowly take over the kitchen. A little sign that says, "Coffee first." A row of fake plants, a seasonal figurine, maybe even 3 different cookie jars that are mostly empty. It starts off feeling cozy, but little by little, it turns into clutter. You have to dust, wipe around, and move every time you clean. The fix keep only a few pieces that are both beautiful and useful. Maybe a ceramic bowl you actually serve in, or a cake stand that doubles as display. When decor pulls double duty, it earns its place. One of my friends used to have a shelf full of rooster figurines her aunt collected for her. She admitted she hated dusting them and none of them had a use. One day she boxed them up, kept her favorite one, and the whole room felt like it could breathe again. And here's the truth. Your kitchen doesn't need to look like a catalog spread to feel welcoming. It just needs space for you to cook, move, and enjoy being there. The fewer things sitting around, the Number 12. Let's open that spice rack in the back of the fridge because if we're honest, it's a graveyard. Half-used bottles of sauces from a recipe you tried, once jars with a teaspoon, left spices that expired before your last birthday. They hide in the shadows, taking up space and tricking you into thinking you have plenty when really you just can't find the good stuff. The fix is easy. Pull them all out, check dates, and be ruthless. If you can't remember the last time you used it, it's time to let it go. Keep only the essentials you reach for weekly. I once helped a friend clean her spice cabinet, and we found 3 jars of cumin, 2 expired, 1 barely touched. She laughed and said, "Apparently I thought cumin would solve my cooking problems." Spoiler, it didn't. And let's be real, no one is going to come over and say, "Wow, your nutmeg expired last year, shame on you." If you're not using it, you're not missing it. Clearing old spices and condiments not only frees space, it makes cooking smoother because you'll actually find what you need when you need it without battling a lineup of sticky bottles and dusty jars. So those are 12 simple but powerful ways to clear the weight out of your kitchen. From rugs and cluttered counters to old spices and unused gadgets, every small change adds up. And remember, this isn't about having a perfect showroom kitchen. It's about giving yourself more space, more time, and more peace every single day. If you've been feeling overwhelmed, just start with one category. Try the rugs or clear out a drawer of mugs. The relief you feel from that one step will give you the energy to keep going. I also have another video that breaks down decluttering by area of the home from closets to bathrooms, so if you want to keep the momentum, that's a great next step. And if today's tips made you breathe a little easier, do me a favor, like this video, share it with a friend who might need it, and hit subscribe. Because you deserve a kitchen and a life that feels lighter, calmer, and easier every single day.